actually go next door to your neighbors, and we have a church that's across the way from us. So we went and did some outreach with them, and said, hey, look, open door, come over anytime, ask the hard questions, see what we're doing. I'll give you open door, come over anytime, ask the hard questions, see what we're doing. I'll give you a tour. I'll show you what we're doing. And we're continuing to do community outreach. This is one of the reasons I'm so excited about being here, because I want to reach that larger audience. I want to reach those neighborhoods and get their input. How can I be doing it better? How can you hold me to a higher standard?
I want to just do something here, since we have a studio audience here. By showing me your voice, how many of you would not be opposed to having a medicinal marijuana facility in your neighborhood? Make some noise. No. Who in here would be opposed to having a medicinal marijuana facility in their neighborhood? Just one person. All right. I want to stay on this subject again of safety, and again of a public concern for this. Have you thought about what is the rule? Because again, we don't see it. We're talking about safety and concerns of health, and I'm talking about the product itself. I'm a medicinal marijuana patient. Hey, this sounds good. I no longer have to buy my product from a dealer, and I can't verify what the product is. I can't verify what the THC level is. I don't know if it's been sprayed with hairspray. I don't know if it's had additives. I don't know if there's mold on it. This is wonderful. Now that the city is saying, I still am a little confused about this. It's legal, federally illegal. How can you protect the patients and have them know that the product that they're going to get, and I'm not saying that you have to be the FDA, but there is going to be that thought out there that, well, if the city is saying it's okay, the product must be safe. What would you say to someone who makes a statement like that?
Well, first off, Tony, you hit the nail on the head on one more reason why prohibition is an insane government policy, and that is that the black market product has no standards. There is no one that's monitoring it for purity, for potency, or for any of those problems. That remains the problem today. The bill that was vetoed by the governor would have taken us a long way down the road toward assuring quality of the actual product. We do not have that ability now. And I do want to correct one thing you just said. It's, again, not legal in the city of Seattle. What we have done is to say, this is what we expect of you in the way of complying with our existing rules and ordinances. And if you do that, then at least as far as the city of Seattle is concerned, you don't have an enforcement issue with us. But that does not solve the problem. It is not legal. Seattle cannot go it alone and say it is legal to have medical marijuana or adult recreational use. We've got to make that clear. It has to happen for medical marijuana, at least at the state level, before you have any certainty. And then ultimately, we're all talking about the federal prohibition. Federal government does not say that medical marijuana is legal. We simply have the word of their top prosecutor, Eric Holder, that medical marijuana users who are validly authorized and consistent and in compliance with a comprehensive statewide statute will not be prosecuted. Doesn't mean it's legal. They're just simply saying they're not going to prosecute you. So that's an important distinction that still goes to show my main point, which is why we have to change the laws. So, Tony, I hope I'm getting at your question. We really can't. The state, there's a Seattle-King County Health Department, and they, for instance, will have jurisdiction over baked goods. Some of the medical marijuana that's provided in the form of tinctures or made into edible products for people who can't smoke it or vaporize it, they arguably fall under the jurisdiction of that health department, and they may be able to exert some influence over quality control there. But it's just like at HempFest. I attended on Saturday, and I know that they had sick people attending that had bought from private vendors goods that had been privately prepared, not subject to any government testing or inspection. And to HempFest credit, they were exhorting people not to do this, not to buy from people that you don't know. And that's why, ultimately, short of growing your own, Tony, which is really the only thing that the federal government has said they will stand down from, is a validly authorized user growing their own. That's the only way you can be sure that you're going to be in compliance with the rules. It's the only way you can be sure that you're using a safe product. You just absolutely can't be sure. I don't know how strongly Mr. Davis feels about his sources, but there is no government standard because it's simply prohibited. It's reminiscent, Tony, of the 1920s when we had the 18th Amendment that outlawed alcohol. You could buy alcohol anywhere, but frequently it was industrial wood alcohol, the stuff they used to clean machinery with, and they would flavor it to be like gin or something like that. People were dying over this, and the same can be true for marijuana that is purchased through drug cartels.
And I think
Mr. Davis, I would like you to, you were going to address that same question, and for you, does that pose a problem for you legally? Does that make you liable again for folks who use your product, and how do you verify whether that product is safe or not, or it has the chemicals in it that people are looking for their particular disability?
Oh, absolutely. Am I liable in doing what I'm doing? Absolutely. Like in any other business, you know, if I injure someone, who's taking that liability? The owner of the business, and the owner of the business is me. Tony, I think you're holding the wrong person's foot to the fire on this, because government, the City of Seattle has taken an important step. They've given us an ordinance and said, look, if you're a business, you need to act like a business. Yeah, you do need to follow the laws everyone else does. But it is up to the community to set the standards. I mean, the government can't at this point regulate an illegal substance, so they can't come to me and say, look, your gas chromatograph test needs to be, you know, in this range if you're going to call yourself medicine. So the community has come together, and I've been active in trying to push us together to enact some basic best practices. Basic best practices to start with. Seattle Cannabis Association, which SeattleCannabisAssociation.com, is something, is an organization that's come up that is Seattle specific. And what the Seattle, and I'm a member, Northwest Patient Resource Center is a member, what we've done is we've done exactly that. We've put our best practices. We've said, look, if you have the stamp of Seattle Cannabis Association, you are buying into food handlers permits, certified kitchens. You know what? You're going to be a business. If you're going to deal with me, I'm a legal business. I pay my taxes. You also are going to be a legal business, and you're going to pay your taxes. You're going to be set up correctly. When medicine comes in, one, we try to certify these facilities wherever we can. I have the vendors that I deal with are specific, and oftentimes I will help the vendors come to the next level because they're good people, they're trying to do it right. But yeah, you know, having your dog in your grow room, bad idea. You're gonna be treating, look, if you're dealing medicine, you're going to be treating your place like a laboratory, because that's what it is. You're going into your place, first you're monitoring your air in, where your air is coming from. It's going to be filtered. It's filtered coming out. You're properly zoned, or as close as we can get you. Your electrical is proper, so you're not, you know, burning your place down. But you're in an environment that you're going to create quality medicine, and you're going to have practices where you trim matters. You're trimming in a dirty location. You're picking up stuff. That goes on to the, cannabis is very effective at picking up pollen, but it's not just pollen it'll pick up. You know, it'll pick up anything. If it's in your room, it's in the medicine. So you have basic protocols about how you treat it, how you trim it, how you bag it, how I receive it. When it comes in, it's barcoded, it's put away. We have a procedure on how we handle it and how we bottle it. You know, we have, you know, you're in a sterile, white location. You've got a nice, clean jacket on. You've got your hair, you know, your hair's not getting in. You got your hairnet on. You're bottling it, so we can keep this as medicine next to the counter in sealed, proportioned containers, so that we know, as best we can, seed to sale, where that medicine came from. And the members of the SCA we're pushing each other in the right direction. One of the fundamental things from the SCA is that we absolutely will not deal with anything out of the state of Washington, period. And because anytime you go over a border, one, how do you know where that came from? How do you know it's on it? Two, you've crossed a border. Now that's a federal issue. All our stuff comes from our community. Also, this is a better practice of business, because when people set up and they're just basically California doing business as this dispensary, what happens is product comes up from California, is sold, the money is ferried back into California. It's what I call the Walmart model of this. All my people, all my small businesses, and they are all small businesses, are of our community, and they are benefiting our community, and the taxes that are being realized are going to our community. So it's up to us. It's up to, you know, and I'll give a shout out to all those other people out there that are listening that have a business. You know, let's get together. The government doesn't have to regulate us. If we regulate ourselves, then there's not going to be a problem. But we do have to regulate ourselves. Regulation is coming, whether external or internal.
City Attorney Holmes, why do you have the position that you have? Do you see legalizing marijuana as a way to put the drug dealers out of business, the drug cartels out of business? What do you think the impact will be of legalizing marijuana? What's to stop the drug cartels from becoming legal marijuana businesses?
That's another great question. I do believe that it will put the cartels out of business.
Why? How?
Well, number one, for instance, if you look at the 502 model, this is Initiative 502, and you can read about it at newapproachwa.org, WA short for Washington. It insists that, as Mr. Davis just described, it's entirely a homegrown model. So first of all the product has to be produced, processed, and distributed within the state of Washington. And moreover, everyone to get a license from the Liquor Control Board is going to have to be able to certify, you know, where it comes from, and that, you know, Washington residents are producing it, and it will be entirely a state licensed homegrown product. That means automatically we've taken out California gangs, Mexican drug cartels, Canadian intermediaries, and the like. We have just simply cut them out of the business. And I believe that most users, when they can go to a state licensed store to buy their product knowing that it is healthy, that it is certified, that it is uncontaminated, and that it needs to be, of course, priced competitively, because what will the drug cartels try to do? Undercut it if they possibly can. So provided we've done that correctly, I think that most people would choose to go in the light of day to their licensed store as opposed to the corner drug dealer, who is just simply part of a longer chain that goes well beyond this country. So yes, when we limit it to the borders, we've taken a big chunk of the cartel out. We've certainly eliminated the Mexican drug cartels, which again are, you know, the most ruthless cartels on the planet.
What type of opposition have you come across in government and outside of government for the position that you're taking? There aren't, and I don't know of many city attorneys who are taking the position that you're taking with marijuana. What have you come up against?
Well, some of them you would expect. Within the reform community itself, there is disagreement about how do we get to ultimately legalization. And I understand that. You know, I personally have put my name and reputation behind 502 because I think that it